Hey everybody, welcome to the POS Podcast. It is episode
Hello.
166. And what are you doing?
Nothing.
I got Jax and Tom with me. Saber will be
Hi.
here. Saber will be here later. He's hanging out with
Hi.
Laura.
Of course.
So Tom. Oh no, it went dark. Oh no.
Sorry, I'm just tweaking around with some camera stuff.
Yeah,
What's up?
Tom, you're in a place now.
I am. I'm in Virginia. I'm 10 minutes away from Saber. So if he doesn't show up, I can drive over there and kick his ass.
Yeah, do it.
Nice.
Yeah, we've been hanging out, doing work on stuff. Saber Spark 64 things. He tortured me with a terrible Pinocchio movie, which I'll never
I
forgive him
saw.
for.
Yeah, you could have watched Digimon with us.
Look, I didn't know what I was walking into, okay? Had no idea. We were watching this awful Family Guy clone called Forget About It. So that was bad. Then we watched a lot of King of the Hill, which is good.
Yeah,
We watched Dune, which is also good. Finally saw Dune. Fucking sick.
nice.
And then we watched the Halo show, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I still haven't seen that yet.
You know what? I'm not gonna say anything because I said something to Laura before she watched it. And she got very mad. So you know what?
Oh,
won't
I
really
do
talk
not
about
care. No, we'll talk about it when we get to the
it.
the
Alright,
Halo
alright.
stuff. But yeah. So Tom, that's what you've been doing.
Yeah, just moving in.
And then Jax, what about you? I know you're still working on the Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, just working on that and doing other stuff. And just yeah, it's pretty much same old, just grinding. That's all I've been doing, is just working.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, as far as I go, I was watching a lot of movies and also playing Kirby, which I'll get into. Um, but if you want to ask questions for the second half of the show, you can use super chats or ask us on Twitter with our Twitter handles there. I already see some super chats that we got, so we'll answer those at the second half of the show. But we'll go on to topics, and the first one will actually be Kirby, since I just mentioned that.
Sweet.
I think I'm the only one who's played it. Tom, you didn't pick it up, did you?
I've not gotten Kirby yet. No, I should though.
Yeah, I can bring it. We can just play it co-op because it's like co-op from the beginning.
Hell yeah!
But yeah, I played Kirby. I picked it up on Friday and then I finished it on Saturday. And
I played the demo of Kirby, so it's fucking sick. It's definitely a pickup IMO.
yeah, I played the demo beforehand, and then because the demo, like, I thought the demo was like, oh yeah, this is just gonna get it. This is like the first world for the demo, but no, the first world's actually more levels than that. Um,
Sick.
yeah, and it's very much a Kirby game, but in 3D for the way the levels are structured. Because Kirby has this thing where you're like, oh yeah, you go to the end of this part of the level, and then you go into it to a door, and then you're going to the next part of the level. And that's like a typical way a Kirby level works. But what's fun about this one is that there are a lot of different collectibles and stuff to find, and different like paths to search throughout the levels. And since it's like now a 3D game, the first 3D platformer that Kirby's had, there's a lot of different things that they hide around corners and stuff. And it feels very familiar, but it's like, oh yeah, this is a fresh take on like stuff we've played before with Kirby, but it's like just expanded because there's like the aspect of it of like upgrading the different Calpy abilities, which you actually get by doing these little challenge treasure road things, where you get a little star at the end, and those are usually more challenging than the regular levels, which is pretty fun. It's still a very easy game. Even with the new added difficulty that they put in, because they put in like two different modes, a wild mode and a breezy mode. And the wild mode is like the hard mode, but it is still very easy. So I can't imagine what the breezy mode is like. That you must just walk through the level then.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, it's very good. Once it gets to like the third world, like everything gets really, really creative in the way everything looks and the different enemies and bosses and stuff. Because it has kind of like that post-apocalyptic like aesthetic throughout all of the worlds. It's very fun.
Nice.
And then like the final world is very fun too, especially with the final boss. It's like really insane where it goes to. I was like, oh, that's right, Kirby does this. Where the last bosses of all Kirby games are fucking insane. So it's really good. I enjoyed it. I still haven't like 100%ed it yet. At the end of the game, when I was doing a bunch of this stuff, I got my file to 66%. So I just have like 44% left. Still need to find all the Waddle Dees and all the different little gotcha things that you get for the little toys, toy collectibles. And one thing I found interesting is that there's this one Waddle Dee in the town that you go to that keeps track of like all of the different stats for everybody playing around the world. Where it says like, oh, there's this enemy called a Woofy, which is like just a little fox dog thing. Is like, this is how many Woofies have been killed. And it's like
wow.
over 100 million or something.
Oh
and
my
the number just
God.
keeps
Oh,
going
shit.
up. I'm not sure if there's
That's
like a cap to
nuts. It's like kind of
Mhm.
grim for Kirby. I don't know.
that. Yeah.
Holy shit.
But yeah, it's a very fun game, and it's like got really great music too. There is like a vocal song for the main theme, which I was not expecting because that wasn't in the demo. Um, it's in Japanese. I was trying to. Oh yes, 34%, not 44%. I can't math. Um. But yeah, I was wondering why the vocal song didn't have an English version because it's sung in Japanese, but like they give lyrics to it as like a sing along type thing, and it seems like those lyrics would fit really well in an English sung version of the song, but for some reason it's only Japanese. Because if you remember for Smash Ultimate, they also did a vocal song for that with World of Light, and there was both an English and a Japanese version. But for this, there's only Japanese. I don't know if they just didn't have time to do one, or they thought like, nah, we're just gonna do a Japanese one. So yeah, but the game itself, it's very fun. It's the most fun I've had with Kirby in like a long time. I haven't played many of the handheld Kirby games. I played a couple of I played Rainbow Curse on the Wii U, which is like one of those like drawing Kirby games, and so it's Superstar Ultra, which is like excellent. And I've played a few on the Game Boy and Kirby's Adventure, but not much after that. I know that like Return to Dreamland, that was the one on the Wii. That was really good.
Ugh.
But yeah, this is probably the most fun I've had with Kirby since Return to Dreamland, I think.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
That is good.
Yeah. So Kirby is fun.
Is it selling well? Have they released any numbers?
Yeah,
yet? I'm
it's
assuming Kirby did
it's
pretty
been like
well.
it's had like some of the best numbers for Kirby in a long time. So
Switch has that effect on franchises.
yeah. All right, next thing. Let's talk about. Oh, Miss Marvel. Got her trailer and a release date for the show.
Yep. And I have an issue.
Mm-hmm.
They
I know
took-
exactly what it is.
I know exactly. Yeah, it's just, you know what? I guess a part of me was really curious how they were going to do it because a certain other anime is going to be live action very soon, even though this is an anime or something like that, but an animated property. And it's One Piece with Luffy and his stretching. And Miss Marvel in the comics has body stretching and doing
powers,
all this
yeah.
stuff. And I was like, oh, snap. So we're going to finally see how the CGI has come along to like make that work. And they were like, oh, no, she has Green Lantern type powers now. And so they
Yeah.
pretty much turned her from she Mr. Fantastic into Sue Storm with some of the stuff they were showing. And the trailer looked fun and all, but it's just like, that makes me nervous because I think like the last time I saw stretching done well in a live action thing was probably in The Boys when like and that
yeah.
was yeah
It's
yeah
weird.
exactly. That's weird. And it's like
Yeah.
it was either that gay guy or the fucking did a little thing like that. So it's just like I don't.
One way to
I,
put it.
I was so curious how they were gonna like make it work because I guess it's just so uncanny that like it is weird to see stretching in real life, but it's just like that is just what I identify with the character. So I'm very curious how they're gonna go about doing it. So it's like when Mr. Fantastic shows up, how are you gonna do that? Is like you're not gonna like switch his shit around, are you? Like you gotta.
Yeah.
That's just it bugged me. I
Maybe
think the trailer
maybe
was
they
fun,
did
though.
that because of the Fantastic Four when they get to that.
Oh, it's gonna be too similar. She's too similar to that guy. So
Yeah.
I guess like though it's weird because I was having this talk with a friend the other day about how like there are certain heroes now who like back in the day like it was like the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, all Hulk and all that stuff like who are mega popular, and nowadays they've sort of been phased out because it's like it's funny to think about like how Marvel has taken all these no names and made them mainstream because like the big three for the longest time from Marvel was the Hulk, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. Those were the
Yeah.
big three of Marvel. Now it's freaking Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. And it's just like back in the day, it was absolutely no comparison. But people these days forget that. And so
Yeah.
it's and even like Fantastic Four was very popular back in the day. So it's weird that they're not as
Yeah,
like
wasn't like
it's weird.
didn't like Spider-Man get introduced like to the Fantastic
In the
Four?
Fantastic
Like,
Four, yeah. Right, Tom? It was that Fantastic Four thing they made fun of in like every Simpsons episode.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, see, yeah, the fucking that thing. His like first appearance was like this, and before he showed up. So yeah, it's crazy. So this Miss Marvel thing, I'm interested how it is. The the trailer for it looked fun, but it's
It's a
just I'm
commercial. You
just
can call it a commercial.
yeah, the commercial. I guess it is a commercial. So yeah. I mean, it did look fun. It did capture her personality, and she is going to be in Multiverse of Madness, which is literally 2 months away from now, which is crazy, or
Yeah.
1 month away from now since it's freaking end of March.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
because Moon Knight's coming out next. That's like this week.
Yeah. This
That's
week.
when that sort of coming out. And then Multiverse of Madness comes out in the first week of May or second week of May, one of those.
Right. Yeah.
And then we get Miss Marvel. I'm not sure what we're getting after that.
Isn't it What If season 2?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know.
It's interesting they changed her power because they just had Miss Marvel like very prominent in the Avengers game.
Right.
Where her
Right.
powers work exactly as you would expect.
Mhm.
Maybe they're trying to distance themselves from that game because it was received very poorly.
Yeah.
Again, it's just like, well, Marvel is good at like fixing shit later. Like sometimes they'll take a character and they'll be one way, and then like they'll modify them later to be like, oh, you're this way now. So they might do that. They might have some sort of thing where like her powers adapt and becomes that way. But again, it was weird. It was a bit weird. Like, oh, you wouldn't just go with the stretching.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Next
God, that
thing.
unagi.
Digimon Survive was finally shown like after like years of like it being announced like many years ago. I forget when it was announced, like
Right.
2018 or something.
Right.
But yeah, they finally showed it. They showed some characters and some different Digimon who are their partners. Some familiar Digimon. But didn't really show much of what the game was. It was like, oh yeah, here are the characters, and also here's a little bit of gameplay of like tactics. It's like, oh, that's what it is. It's a tactics game.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot. You faked you out. I think there's like a visual novel for the first like 90% of the trailer, and then it's
Right.
like, oh no, there is some
Right.
gameplay. We promise. It was a strange trailer. Like
Yeah.
it felt like a trailer for a game that just started development. 'Cause so like 80% of it was like concept art.
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
off, but I mean, I'm glad it's still alive. It survived.
Yeah. It looks interesting. It didn't grab me, but it looks interesting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I still want to play that the Cyber Sleuth like complete game. Because
Yeah,
I've heard great things about that game. And that it goes into some more like mature directions, and they're even saying with like Digimon Survive that it has like, oh yeah, it's going to be like a very mature story. So we'll see about that.
Yeah, like fucking tries being
Yeah, I know.
and shit.
Yeah, we're like 3 movies into that now.
Yeah, we're like 3 movies into that, and it's just like I was not expecting it to be so dramatic. I will say that. It was like heavily it makes like fucking tamers look like tame. So it's just like
Yeah.
it
Oh
really
my
does.
god!
It's
Well,
just
now
like
I'm really interested because
Yeah,
yeah.
I
it,
watched
it,
the
it
first. I watched the first one and I like dismissed it after that because the first one did not impress me very much. But I did watch it subbed. So
Yeah,
watching it
you
dubbed, I
need the
thought it
dub.
looked better.
You know, Tom, you will enjoy the dub so much more because fucking Tentomon like came back. It's just like
Tentomon
his
has some
actor
great
is
lines.
hilarious. He is
All
fucking
right, all
like
right.
no, because like it's so great that they were able to get the characters, some of the voice actors back. So they like Ty's the same,
Yeah,
Sora's the
I
same,
think like
Mimi's the same.
most of them.
Majority of
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
besides the only ones that are different are Matt, Joe, Gatomon, Kari, TK.
Like
I think
that.
all the
I think
original
I think
Digimon. No,
yeah, yeah.
Biomon.
Yeah, Biomon's different.
And yeah, like
Yeah, all the
Palmon,
other ones though are the
Gomamon.
same.
Yeah, no, except Gabumon too. They changed
Gabumon,
Gabumon.
yeah, Gabumon's different.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
but they got
we
majority of them
yeah
back.
I got like used to them. Like
Yeah,
after a
I
while.
got used
Yeah,
to them pretty fast. And the person who plays Kari does a pretty good
yeah.
like comparison. So yeah, it was just like
All right.
and then
Well,
TK like TK just nailed it. It's just like it
Yeah.
worked.
I'll definitely have to keep watching it then, or
Mm-hmm.
rewatching it caught up so I can keep watching with you guys because
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
3 movies
kind of
left. We're
required
halfway
viewing,
through.
you know.
halfway through, 3 movies left.
But yeah, Digimon Survive. I don't think we got a release date for that. Yeah, we
Hey,
don't have a
Saber.
release date, but yeah, it's
Hello.
releasing on everything. Hey, Saber.
Hi.
Saber,
Y'all
I
talking
can't help
about-
but notice. I can't help but notice you get on the podcast, and then like 4 seconds later, a little notification pops up in the corner of my screen. Saber Spark is now playing Total War Warhammer 2.
Sorry, my headset's not plugged in here. Did Tom say something?
I did.
He did.
Can't you let me have my boomer fun? I'm unfriending
Nope.
you immediately.
Not my fault.
Um,
Steam outed you. That's why you
dude,
gotta go. You gotta go into that fucking Steam. You
you
gotta set
are
the
about-
default to invisible.
You're gonna get Chris rocked tomorrow, my friend.
All right, let's do it.
We'll get to that.
Oh, I have a lot to say. That I actually
yeah.
wrote all my notes. I have so much. To say about
That's why I'm saving it for the end.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Next thing, Tekken Bloodlines. It is.
Tekken.
Yeah, it's an anime show on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah, it's CGI and shit.
Yeah. Later this year. I don't know anything about Tekken.
Yeah.
Jackson,
I don't know the
though.
characters' names. Like, okay, here's the thing with Tekken. I played Tekken. I like remember like certain characters' moves and stuff like that, and like I'll recognize characters from Tekken instantly. But like if you ask me like to name them, like I can't do it like I can with like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Like Mortal Kombat, I'll like go, oh yeah, I can name that obscure character that was introduced in part 2, but actually became main character in part 3. You know, stuff like that. Like I can do that. But like with Tekken, it's like yeah, I don't know. Like, and it's like got that Kengan Ashura CGI style because like it's. Which I hope they keep the mechanics because I'll say this, like while I don't care for the aesthetic of certain CGI anime, the fighting mechanics of the Kengan Ashura anime on Netflix was actually like really good because I studied actual MMA fighters with how they did it. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that
that'll
tracks.
probably work for Tekken then.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
it'll work.
this looks
perfectly for
really
Tekken.
good. I hadn't watched the trailer before right now, but
Mhm.
like they have like dynamic line weight on the 3D models, like really have it kind of be sold. Like when they're not like actually moving the whole character, it looks 2D. You know, like you can obviously tell there's a little bit of like 3D-esque when they're like doing like fight choreography and stuff, but just like talking and stuff. Like this shot of Heihachi right here, like just a pan shot,
Mm.
that they're doing some good stuff. Like they're not like panning the camera in 3D, so the whole thing isn't shifting in perspective. It's a flat image, so it's just they're keeping in mind a lot of the limitations. Actually, I'm also looking at this freeze frame right now. They like overdrew some like flat shadows to make it look more 2D. Like there's just like a weird jagged line that doesn't follow any geometry that just is for aesthetic only. I don't know. I think they're doing a lot of good things, like paying attention to the small little details.
Better than that Dragon Ball Super superhero bullshit.
Well, I'm glad Xenoverse is getting a new movie.
Yeah, I'm glad freaking Budokai Tenkaichi's making a comeback.
It's interesting because like as far as like the animated properties that Netflix has done for video games have done well so because with Castlevania and Cuphead, both of those were great. So this might be great too with the Tekken anime.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
All right, next, Ghostbusters. Spirits Unleashed.
Feel good.
Yeah.
What is this? A video game?
Yeah, it's from the same people who did the Friday the 13th game.
Shit!
Yeah, it's a 4v1 type of game where like there's 4 people who are Ghostbusters and then one person's a ghost.
Oh, that's cool, man. I got to see this. I'm looking this up.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun.
Hopefully, it's better than Evolve.
That's awesome. Now that it's back, they can bring back fucking Ectocooler then. Okay, so do that shit again. For fuck's
So they only do that for the movies.
That's all. Jax doesn't care about any of the shit. It's just like as long
really
as they bring back
don't.
Ectocooler, that's all that matters.
Anytime Ghostbusters, bro, it's just Ectocooler. That's all I give a fuck about.
I still haven't tried Ectocooler.
I can't. You know what pisses me off, Tom? If you had literally asked me in 2016 when I was hoarding the shit, I could have saved you one. I would have saved you at least one because I had like crates of it.
I figured you would, but
the drinks. It overtook me.
I'd assume back then they're like, oh, I'll find it in a store at some point. And just probably because you bought it all.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, it looks like a fun game. I've heard that their other game though, the Predators Hunting Grounds thing, wasn't very good. So
it sucks.
Yeah.
Can you play as Slimer or is it just random ghost?
It looks like there's some different like iconic ghosts in there, so it looks like there's a Slimer.
Do you get to play as Zool, motherfucker Zool?
I don't know.
Oh, dude. All
right, next thing. Close Enough Season 3 had a trailer and a release date. I didn't watch the trailer because I don't want spoilers for Close Enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes out.
Is it coming out?
April 7th, next week.
Huh, that's close enough.
I look forward to that show. I love Close Enough so much.
Yeah, a lot is happening on April 7th because like we get Close Enough, we get the pony shorts coming out, and we also get Sonic. Like,
he can really move.
He's
got an
fastest thing alive.
Look out what he's gonna do.
I thought he had gout.
He does have gout.
He can't run anymore.
He does.
That's tragic. A tragic
crystallization of my joints.
You know, a disease that turns you into a statue.
All right. Next thing. MGM. MGM is now owned by Amazon. Yeah.
Consolidation continues.
Yeah, it continues. Which is weird because, like, I think I could have sworn this already happened, but I guess it's official now. That Amazon owns MGM. Because before I was like, who owns MGM? I don't know.
I can't wait for Amazon and Disney to be the Pepsi versus Coke of life.
The Godzilla King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goku.
But yeah,
No,
yeah, Amazon owning
Freezing
MGM.
cool.
Who's next?
Yeah, oh well. Go.
Next news thing. Rich Moore has struck a deal with Skydance Animation. If you remember a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, we talked about Brad Bird having a deal with Skydance. Who is another animation director. But yeah, Rich Moore, that's a Zootopia director, going to Skydance. And he's
It's
cool.
nice to have a name that like really announces your ambition.
Yeah. Because they took like they have a deal with Brad Bird and now with Rich Moore.
No, nobody.
Cool.
You know what, Tom? I thought it was funny. I just didn't want to laugh.
You know what? You don't have to pander to me. It's fine.
Yeah.
It was good.
Isn't Lassiter one of the?
Yeah,
cherries,
Lassiter's one. Yeah, Lassiter's one of the people there. Yeah, so it's strange.
I wonder if that is difficult. I guess I wonder how they gauge that. Where they're like, is it? He's not Weinstein levels of awful, so you can still go there and won't be destroyed by Hollywood. Like
Yeah, maybe Brad Bird and Rich Moore are like, well, he's giving us a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, for what it's worth, like, Lasseter is good at what he does. When it comes to his work, it's just his personal shit's terrible. So I don't know. I'm kind of scratching my head over that one.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Next thing. So Hasbro and E1, which I think we're pretty familiar with because of the pony stuff. They're making a Play-Doh movie.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hasbro and you. They did the Lego movie.
No. E Entertainment One. They're making the My Little Pony stuff.
Okay.
The G5 stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, they're doing a Play-Doh movie.
Is it going to be stop motion?
I don't know, but it would be cool if it was.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I watched the Lego Batman movie on Sunday, and I also watched the Lego movie, and I was like, God, these are great! Like phenomenal
love 'em.
films.
Yeah, Lego Batman's
so
my
good.
favorite Batman movie. I love that movie so much.
It's fantastic. It's way better than it has any right to be.
Right.
Yeah, but it says Play-Doh will be coming to a theater near you at some point as future E1 and Hasbro mount an animated feature that the big sick Oscar-nominated scribe Emily V. Gordon will pen and John M. Chu will produce. Yeah, I'm like, the big sick. Wait, isn't that a dramatic movie? Like, because I watched that last year.
It's gonna be an existential movie about staying, like, the Play-Doh just out of its container for too long. It starts to dry up, and it's a metaphor for like life wearing you down, and it's still gonna be a big dramatic piece.
And then you put through the thing where it's like a meat grinder where you turn little strings.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Lego movie or the Play-Doh.
Yeah, we'll see what this is gonna be like. I know that Hasbro is doing a lot of different things. Like I see in this article here, they're also doing that one, either it's a series or a movie about Dungeons and Dragons, since Hasbro owns the rights to that.
Oh God, because we know the last time they went.
Yeah, last time they did a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah,
Tom, we'll have to watch that with you. Like, it is.
yes.
Wait,
I need
have
to
you seen
see
it?
No.
It is something else. It is something else.
I don't remember if I've watched that with you or not.
Have you seen it before?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's bad.
I guess we have a game plan when you come
Yeah.
down.
Oh yeah, like Ryan said for the Play-Doh movie, they better have a scene where someone eats it.
Yeah. Good times.
All right. Next thing. So remember that Loud House Christmas special that happened? That was live action.
Live action one.
Yeah, they're doing a TV series. Just a live action TV series of Loud House with the same actors.
Was
Wait.
the movie good or?
I don't know. From what I've heard, it was better than the Loud House movie.
Oh shit! So that'll do it. That'll do it. If your fucking live action is better than the anime, that is some. Do you know how like prominent that is? That is some like TMNT level shit. If you have a fucking live action better than the animation, that is fuck.
That is pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, more power to him then, I guess.
I suppose so. I mean, they doing something right.
Yeah.
How many shows does Nickelodeon have, Paleo?
3.
That are quality?
None.
Yeah, exactly. One.
Currently, I don't
now
know.
I'm thinking of that. No, because it's making me laugh because it's thinking of that fucking tweet that was like, man, Disney had one of the worst fallouts I've ever seen. It's just like Nickelodeon wants to say hi. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Shit.
Yeah, Nickelodeon really fell off.
All right. Next
Can't
thing.
think of like they got rid of all their. solid
So
shit.
there was a deleted scene for the
Yeah.
Batman that was on uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know if because I think only me and Jax have seen it. Saber.
I sent it
Tom-
to Tom.
I
literally
mean,
I messaged him.
You did.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched it yet.
You didn't watch it?
I know.
Ah, dude, he was fucked up, bro.
Elden Ring is very powerful.
4 minutes. 4 minutes of your life.
I have 113
But yeah,
hours in Elden Ring so far. I'm still not done.
I like a post on Twitter. I
Right,
think
right.
Animat posted it where he like posted a clip of the deleted scene of like like what was happening, and he ended the clip with the SpongeBob thing of like what did he say? Because like he's very hard to understand.
I can't. No, I could barely understand him through the thing. I needed subtitles, but
Yeah.
like then you see how fucked up his mouth is. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, it makes sense. Like he doesn't have a jaw. Like the way they
Yeah.
have him look, even though this new Joker, the Matt Reeves said, like, because I thought what happened to him was he fell in an actual vat of acid. Because the way you see him, like how fucked up he is fucked. And so like what happened was Matt Reeves said his body was from a skin disease that he got that affected his whole thing where it just made his skin start peeling and changing color and stuff like that. And then his lips is from based on that old 30s movie, The Man Who Can't Stop Smiling or something like that, who was the inspiration for Joker's design, where like he just had a permanent smile throughout his entire life and his skin disease just ripped it apart. So that's why his jaw looks so fucked up. And it's like it works, I get, for this universe, but it's just like, fuck, dude. I could barely understand him. I'm very curious. I like that he's a more of a Hannibal Lecter instead of a main character. Like I don't want him because I remember when I first saw him in the Batman, I was just like, oh, here we fucking go again. It's Joker again. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
But it, like I thought it was just a very interesting scene. I get why they cut it because the movie's fucking three
Three
hours
hours
and
long.
shit. Like,
Yeah,
so it's just like, yeah, we don't need extra shit on there. But like, it was just, it was interesting. It was very interesting. I will say this: I do not want to see what Harley Quinn fell in love with that Joker and shit like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Go down on me, Mr. J.
it looks like that fucking thing from. What was that? Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. That that's just hard. Come in, Mr. J. Shit like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where that goes.
Well, they have an Arkham series, don't they? Coming out.
They have that series with the Penguin that's gonna happen on HBO.
Right.
From this movie. So.
Okay. But if they like it, if people like that scene enough, he's like, all right, I got you. I gave the taste. Yeah.
All right. Next, I was saving this towards the end in case Saber was late. The Puss in Boots: The Last Wish trailer came out from DreamWorks, and it looks
so funny.
It looks very different from the first Puss in Boots.
It's so funny.
It's a lot more stylized.
It's so funny how it's like. It was so random, like a sequel. It was like, how long ago did that fucking movie come out?
2011.
Like, oh, by the way, yeah, 2011. Here you go, random movie, sequel. And I was like, I was like noticing how like some of it, like you just said, was stylized, so like that Spider-Verse style. Like Spider-Verse really had an effect on so many like series where it's just like, or so many movies now where it's just like, oh, okay, I see you experimenting with it. And this whole thing where it's probably going to be all dramatic and shit like that, where it lures you in with like, oh yes, well you see, life is like this. It's like, I got 9 of them, I'm good. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. Where you just saw him, like,
that was good. The montage of like him going through all his lives.
Oh, that was good. And so like, yeah, it's probably gonna be all dramatic, some shit like that at the end.
I saw. I was gonna bring this up, Saber, with the Twitter thing, where like people were like, "Why does everybody compare everything to Spider-Verse?" It was like, because it did something. Like, of course there were stylized movies before, but it didn't have like the effect that Spider-Verse had. Spider-Verse like actually won Best Animated Feature like over Disney and Pixar. That was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
People tagging me were like, the Peanuts movie, and I'm like, and I looked at
the Peanuts movie was not nearly as big as Spider-Verse. The Peanuts movie is a great movie. I love it. It's like literally the best thing Blue Sky has ever done. But like Spider-Verse, like
Twitter
really
has a
did
hard time with reading comprehension. You know? It's just like this is not the first movie to do something. It's the one that sets the trend. There is a difference between these two things.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Saber?
No, I mean, I was gonna say that in the replies for that, people point out the Peanuts movie. They're like, "Are you forgetting something?" And then I look through those replies, and folks are like, "What movie is this?" I'm like, well, "There you go." Like, there you go. There's a Peanuts movie, and I'm like, yeah, right. That's exactly the problem here. Is like, it's not that Spider-Verse was first; it was that it did it most effectively and garnered the most critical and financial success in that capacity. And I think also the animation industry itself was kind of just like in awe, being like, "Wow, that looks amazing." So we kind of
Yeah.
want to do that now.
Spectacular, even.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Because yeah, I see it a lot
Ultimate.
with like Breath of the Wild too, where like people are saying like stop comparing stuff to Breath of the Wild, or like Breath of the Wild didn't like change everything, but it was like it made open world games a bit more fun and not Ubisoft like, as far as like the way it did open world games.
Yeah.
So and also the same thing with like I guess cell shading with Wind Waker. There were cell shaded games before Wind Waker, but not very many and not very popular.
Shout out to
Many,
Cell
many...
Damage on Xbox.
Yeah, Cell Damage. And Beautiful Joe, did that come out after or before Wind Waker?
Oh yeah, Beautiful Joe.
I can't remember if it came out after or before.
It might have been the same year, or like.
But yeah,
very
there
close.
were cell shaded games before Wind Waker. But also remember that when Wind Waker came out, there were a lot of people who hated it. Like a lot of people. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They were
Firefighters.
salty as fuck that it didn't look like that Space World trailer from the year before.
Yeah.
People were pissed.
But it's like one of the best. Like it's aged like so well compared to other games in that era. So
Yeah. Made a whole video on that. It's great. That's why stylized games should be done more often.
Remember
You
that
don't look like shit 20 years later.
that game? It was called like Fur Fighters Vigo's Revenge and shit like
I
that.
remember the original
Yeah.
Fur Fighters for Dreamcast.
No, I didn't have a Dreamcast. I just remember Vigo's Revenge. Yeah, that was. I remember that had an interesting art style.
All right. Last two things. Halo. Let's talk about Halo. You guys can talk about it. Because I haven't seen it, though. I've heard very mixed things, like things from people who have not played the games and saying like, "Oh, this is great," and people who have played the games are saying this is terrible.
Yeah, can I go for like? Let me say this because you two are the mega Halo fans. I'm the I need a weapon. That is my Halo 2. That is one I played all the time, but I haven't played the other ones. So I'll say this. As someone who's mixed on there, I've been exactly like Palea. I've seen so many people who have not played the games who are like, they had a Cowboy Bebop effect of like, oh, wow, that was kind of cool. But then there are people who are like, oh, this is shit. And then all the Halo fans are just like, bruh, fuck this shit. This is too fucking bad. They're telling us shit we already fucking know. I can't believe this shit. Why did he do that at the fucking end of the episode? Shit like that. And it's just like, I completely agree. I'll say this. The beginning, I was not expecting the Covenant to go that fucking hard. Like what they did to those children and shit. I was like, oh fuck, this show is like this. Okay, yeah, that show was. I was like, oh, I was not expecting that. And I like the Master Chief armor. I like the Spartan armor. That was cool, stuff like that. But besides that, whatever. And
It was pretty
now I'm unlocking the door. Go destroy it. Go. Rip it apart. Do your thing.
Well,
yeah. You want to start, Saber?
we don't want to blow our load too hard because we're gonna do that tomorrow.
That's true.
So I mean, it's tough because you don't want to be like too nostalgic, too blinded by the franchise and not give this a chance. But then you watch it and it's like, man, yeah, it ended up being as bad as we thought it would be. Cause like I'm okay with them actually taking liberties, switching up the story and doing this alternate universe for Halo. But like there were just time and time again things introduced that it felt like it had no real build up. And then like the biggest sin of all is how quickly the show went in the first episode.
Yeah.
Where it's like, wow, you just warp speed right past this. Where like, who's the Covenant? What's the UNSC? They never even say what the UNSC stood for. And maybe they will next episode. You know, I could be retroactively looking back on my current thoughts and be like, okay, they saved it. That's possible. There's a non-zero chance. Not likely though, because like Halo's gone through such a this series has gone through just development hell. It's been passed around. It's very expensive, and ultimately I'm just looking at it. I'm like, really, this is it? Of course, this is it. This is the Halo's been cursed where it just never could get its footing, and I think this is going to just perpetuate that entire like opinion of mine that Halo will never have a satisfying adaptation outside of like maybe Halo Legends was kind of okay with a few particular episodes, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't like really watched a lot of the Halo. I've seen Halo Legends. I watched the adaptation of Fall of Reach, uh, which was okay. Um, and then I haven't seen Forward Unto Dawn, but I've heard mixed things about that as well. There's surprisingly a lot of Halo video content that I
Right. It's out.
continually forget exists. But
Folks,
this is
yeah.
obviously like the biggest budget, like most
Yeah,
like
the most advertised
hardcore,
one.
the most average, the best thing on Paramount Plus, also the only thing on Paramount.
Right.
So I feel like even because like I actually kind of liked the fact that they did a different timeline because like that like compartmentalizes the damage, like
Yeah.
if they fuck up, it's fine, like they have their own little playground that they can piss in if they want to. I feel like even ignoring the fact that they take a lot of liberties in their adaptation, you can make a solid argument that this is a subpar show just on its own merits.
Yeah.
Pacing is really its biggest problem. There's the episode ends with a big kind of like character motivation that has no build up. They don't spend a lot of time getting to know any of the characters. And the whole second half of the episode is like a bunch of like back to back like betrayals, revelations about factions, and then like a big character moment for Master Chief. But if you're just someone watching this show, and like these are all technically different characters because this is a different timeline, so I can't make any assumptions as a fan about who these characters are or what their motivations are. Everything in the second half of the episode falls flat because it's a bunch of strangers I don't know making decisions about other characters I also don't know. And they cram like a season worth of plot into one episode, and so everything just feels empty. It's like, okay, this happened. Like the first action sequence where you don't need any context was pretty fun to watch. Everything after the fact is character driven, and we never stop to really get to know any of our characters.
Yeah, perfectly said. They don't set the table. That's what I told Tom when I was watching it. Where the first like 15 or so minutes had some pretty cool action. Like I'm Jax, I'm with you. Where I'm like, wow, this is surprisingly gory, and I'm here for it. The elites, I talked to Tom about this today. Where like Laura mentioned that the elites looked too beefy, and I was like, yeah, they do. They're a bit beefy. And I thought more about it. I'm like, yeah, they are too beefy. And Tom, you said the observation that they're based on the Halo 4 elites or the Halo 5 elites.
Yeah, because when 343 took over working on Halo, in Halo 4 and 5, they switched the art direction of the series pretty significantly, and there was a lot of blowback to it. But if you look at like concept art for the elites from Halo 4 and 5, they are bigger and thicker and taller and chonkier and have like thicker, bigger armor. And a lot of people were doing like fan edits to bring that back to like the Bungie style. So I'm assuming because the series has been in development hell, and even after like this version got greenlit, that must have been years ago. And Infinite just came out the end of last year, where they walked back the aesthetic of Halo to bring it back in line with the Bungie entries. So this was already well in development. And they were probably basing all the designs and stuff based on like Halo 5 Guardians. That's probably why they look bizarre.
Which like I don't know, I would have preferred them maybe a bit more sleek in their design.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I mean there are things that they've changed where it's like, okay, Stephen Downes isn't the voice of Master Chief, and you have Master Chief doing a face reveal, which felt like so pointless.
In the
where
first
it's like,
episode?
like,
Yeah,
The first
right.
episode, it
very
takes
first
the helmet
episode.
off. Yeah.
It's like who cares? It's a white guy. Who gives a shit? Like why should I care about this,
I
except
can't
maybe
believe
if it-
Mandalorian did a better like Master Chief than
Absolutely.
Halo.
Yeah.
Well, there's build up
Well,
to it, and there's
that's been
significance to it.
right. They're because like they wait to do the face reveal, um, in Mandalorian. They don't do it here. He takes off his helmet for a random character that he's known for maybe 10 minutes.
Right.
It's bizarre because again, like again, the helmet coming off, I think like in the context of the episode is supposed to kind of represent him like not being as much of a machine anymore, like not blatantly following orders, like thinking for himself. He takes the helmet off because that's like the whole thing that's going on at the end of the episode is he's uh basically rebelling against the UNSC. Um
Which is like,
which is bizarre in and
what?
of itself because like we don't have any context for how the Spartans relate because there's always been some tension in the greater Halo lore between Halsey and the Spartans versus the UNSC. Like they're like a comfortable pairing in the midst of like an alien invasion, but like there's always been this undercurrent, especially in the later Halo games, like when 343 takes over and they start kind of digging into the lore of like Halsey isn't really on the up and up. Like she's a very morally ambiguous character. You know, like the Spartans were originally developed to put down insurgents, not to fight the Covenant. It just happened to be that like after they were created, like
Good
the Covenant
timing.
invaded. It's like good timing on their part. So like there's always been that element to it. But like none of that's really explored in the show, other than like one 5 minute scene with Halsey, like a conversation with Keys and his daughter, and but like they're just talking about the plot. We're not really learning anything about them. The exposition that's done is very clumsy and very one note. Um, and there's a lot of strange things. Like Halsey and Keys are married, or they were married when they
I had a
and, like
kid or
they had a
something.
kid together. You know, so like Halsey's. I mean, you wouldn't really categorize Halsey from what she's been in Halo games and the supporting
Mom of the
material
year, right?
as someone starting a family. So it's and maybe someone will like lore. I mean, like Halsey has kids, like it's said in Ghosts of Onyx, you know, whatever, which I haven't read. Unfortunately.
Chapter 4.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. But again, like I'm trying to keep away from like making comparisons because like this is a different Dr. Halsey, this is a different Captain Keys, this is a different Master Chief. You know,
Which
Blue Team doesn't even exist. It's Silver Team, which is a completely different set of Spartans. And like we don't know anything about them. Like they assist Chief, they leave the planet before he does, and then at the end, Halsey's like, "Yo, make sure you fucking back Chief and don't help the UNSC." And I'm like, there's some interesting tension, but they just walk up and then that's the all they do, and that's we don't know any we don't know what their names are, we don't know who they are, and like that's like a scene you're supposed to feel like there's a lot of tension of like these three different like essentially points of view, the UNSC, Halsey Spartans, and Chief, all kind of coming to this point. And it's like this feels like a mid-season or a season event where it's like all these factions and ideologies that we've taken some time to really understand and like know where they're all coming from are coming to this like breaking point, but there's just nothing. They haven't built anything up, so we get to this crescendo and it just falls totally flat.
right, it doesn't feel earned. It feels rushed. And like you said, Tom, like you're trying to like divide yourself from like Halo nostalgia and the games and whatnot. But like when you look at this episode for what it's worth, for just as far as storytelling goes and building characters and building anticipation and raising the stakes, it's like I feel nothing. I feel nothing. Now I will say that the model for Mercy looks extraordinarily good. Like
Yeah,
holy
the
shit.
effects works really good. I mean,
So I just got a text from my dad because I think he's watching the show right now. He said, how would this be to somebody who has never played Halo?
yeah, it's I mean, I feel like if you have no context for Halo, I think it's like an enjoyable enough watch. It's not
Yeah,
unwatchable. I mean, if you're someone who kind of like thinks about your media, I think you can probably poke holes in it because like it only took one viewing for me to start like thinking of things up. Not that I'm
Right.
super smart about these things or anything, but like I think just for an average, you know, like someone who's just like they got home from work, they have Paramount Plus for some ungodly reason, and they need something to watch and they throw it on. I think you can just kind of chill with your beer and just have a good enough time.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're putting sort of critical thought into it,
yeah.
it kind of falls apart.
From what you said, Tom, though, of how like there's a bunch of betrayals and stuff in the very first episode, that seems like they're just rushing stuff.
Well, that's the whole
Yeah.
thing. It really felt like they wanted, because there's a there's a girl who's like the kind of the POV character through the most of the episode, and the episode starts in like a colony, because like again, the Spartans were originally developed to put down insurgents, so we get the perspective of this insurgent colony on this planet, and they're all just like, oh god, the Spartans, they're gonna fuck us up. We're seeing all the UNSC propaganda. So like it's very much positioning like these insurgents, which is just kind of a footnote in the Halo lore that hasn't really been explored much in most of the mainline stuff. Their role is much bigger, and I think they're the sympathetic faction that the show's going to try and focus on, where the UNSC and the Covenant are both equal levels of bad. At least that's the perspective the first episode gives, which is a very different kind of thing than the games, obviously, because like the UNSC has its issues, but like since Chief is your protagonist character, the lens you view them through is usually generally like positive, like there's obviously issues, and Halo 4 and 5 explore that a lot more because 343 wanted to get a bit more in Chief's head. But like in the Bungie games, like it's very much like shoot aliens, they bad, we're doing good, humans fighting the good fight. So tonally it's very different.
Like the part where the insurrectionist is like talking to Miranda, the captain of like the UNSC ship that they're on, or whatever rank she was, and this insurrectionist like teenage girl is like, UNSC with your stupid propaganda. And it's like, what, the propaganda that ended up being fucking true? Because the propaganda for them was like, Spartans bad, the Covenant are made up, and then the Covenant show up and the Spartans save him, and then she's like, there's dumb propaganda, and it's like, it's true.
The weirdest scene in the entire episode, because basically what happens is they're just like scared of the UNSC, because the UNSC is obviously fighting them because they're unaligned with general Earth, whatever, like however they decide to develop that, because obviously it's a different universe, we don't know. And then Covenant attack, and they're like, oh fuck, it's a UNSC attack. No, it's not. What the fuck are these aliens? And then one of the like older guys that we saw in the beginning is like, I thought this was just propaganda from the UNSC, but it's real. The Covenant's real. And so they get fucking annihilated, except for one girl who happens to live. And so Chief takes her off world and going to bring her back to Reach. And so there's one survivor, and Miranda Keyes has like a hologram, and she's talking to this girl, and it's like, you survived. You saw the Covenant. You know they're real. This is a very, like, I know obviously our people don't get along very well, but this is clearly a bigger threat. If you can come back here and work with us and get your people on the same page as us about this new bigger threat, we can all effectively form a resistance. And this girl is just like, nah, I'm just gonna lie to everybody and say it was your fault because fuck you.
Because the UNSC killed my mom. Because the UNSC killed my grandma, okay?
Yeah. And it's just like,
I gotta remember that for the review. It's true.
Yeah, the trolls.
Yeah.
It's just such a bizarre choice that doesn't make any sense. Like, I can understand like being like having a personal grudge, but to I don't know, it felt strange because like, yeah, the UNSC killed your mom. The Covenant just killed everyone you've ever known 5 minutes ago, and you were saved by the people who killed your mom. So like, but there's no like kind of like conflict of like, who do I align with? Because that's strange, right? She's like, fuck the UNSC. But then 10 minutes later, she's like, Master Chief, you're the one who killed my mom. I've met you before, but let's be friends and get me out of here.
You're right. Can you hotwire a dropship?
Yeah.
Also, Cortana might be an egg, and there's an evil human Covenant. I don't know.
It's a fucking weird show.
It's again. I feel like we were at least in the right camp going into it, being okay. Impress us. We're not going to be complete sticklers. Please don't let us have to be this. And it's like, oh fuck, we have to, don't we? Like it's that bad that we actually are justified.
It's unfortunate because like I know a lot of people disliked the art style that 343 did, and even the Halo Infinite video we put on Saberspark 64. I played defense for them. I'm like, it's a different team of creators. Like they're allowed to take some liberties. I almost feel bad that they have to kind of now with Halo Infinite they have to work in the shadow of Bungie. These artists that they don't really have any contact with
Halo Infinite, because I also played through Halo Infinite, the single player And I played a little bit of multiplayer, but not much. And with Halo Infinite, it's like after finishing the game, I'm like, is there supposed to be more of this game? Because it doesn't feel like it was finished.
Did you notice that one of the islands in like the upper left side of the map?
Yeah, it was like
markers
there's
on it?
supposed to be something there. I know it.
It's DLC Island. We're gonna go
Yeah.
there soon.
DLC Island.
It was like they should have just delayed it another year.
They really should have. But I mean, we're still waiting for Forge and co-op.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're still waiting for that?
Yep. Anyway,
Anyways,
any final thoughts on Halo?
I don't know. I don't expect much
I
from
hope
it.
it gets better.
Yeah,
Me
it's just
too. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm sure beer drinking dads will love the show.
All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
my dad will like it then.
Yes, your dad will like. Laura's dad liked it. I think dads will like it.
Nice.
He's always got his sci-fi show with Picard right now, though. So.
Oh no!
Oh Jesus Christ!
No!
I haven't even watched Picard, but I'd much rather watch fucking Halo than Picard based on what I've been seeing from Red Letter Media. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Tom,
God.
is that the audience these shows are for? Or for like tired dads?
No, it's just is he the same? It's just the same audience as the geezer teasers.
Teasers. That's good. Geezer teasers is good.
What the
That
fuck?
is a good
Have
one.
you not seen those videos from Red Letter Media where they talk about the Bruce Willis movies? They're
That's
called
right.
they're called geezer teasers.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
I'm not creative enough to come up with that, but yeah, the geezer teaser.
Oh, that's props anyway. That's funny.
Geezer teaser.
Lord.
So
Whenever I see my dad watching a movie, I'm just gonna say, "Are you watching a geezer teaser?"
Watch the geezer teaser, Dad.
All right. Hold on, I got a text from him.
Oh God.
we're gonna get the live text of Halo right now.
He just said "lol." All right.
Oh God.
I mean, that's a good review of the show.
Well,
All right. Last thing before Q&A. Oscars. So,
no.
before we
Here
get
we
to the
go.
big thing, because
Okay.
that fucking overshadowed everything that happened. Because
Yeah.
I
have
know, yeah, I know that like people every year is like, why do you care about the Oscars? Like, why do you even watch it? It's like, I'm not gonna watch the Oscars, and then they watch it anyway. I watch the Oscars because of stuff like this that just insanely happens for whatever reason, because it's always a shit show, no matter what happens. Like we had
Right.
the one year where La La Land was supposedly won Best Picture, and they're like, wait a minute, no, it went to Moonlight, like.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year, when they saved Best Actor for the last category instead of Best Picture, because everybody thought that Chadwick Boseman was going to get it as a posthumous Oscar, but he didn't. It went to Anthony Hopkins, and people were like, "Wait, what?" And then like they had a what's his fucking name? The guy who plays Joker,
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, they had him like present, and the show just fucking ended. Like. It just ended very abruptly.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
Right.
But yeah, that's why I watch the Oscars, because of insane shit that happens.
Right.
And it was really awkward and weird this year, because we had not one, not two, but 3 hosts.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because they had Amy Schumer, Wanda Sykes, and Regina Hall.
Oh yeah.
They were not good. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
no,
I know. From the
yeah.
stuff I saw from Amy Schumer, yeah, that was not good.
Yeah. Like, and people were saying, like, just go back to no hosts that you were doing before. And there was a bunch of controversy about this Oscars, because they cut a lot of the time and showed a lot of awards in the pre-show, and then edited them for the show that was going on, but they still went over time. Like, they cut, like, I think it was like 10 awards or whatever.
Right.
For the pre-show, and not having them in part of the main show, so the people who won those awards, they didn't even get their like 5 minutes of spotlight or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I feel really bad for a lot of the winners and stuff, because of stuff that happened that completely overshadowed like their moment.
Right.
Well, what happened?
But I'm gonna go over some of the winners though, and then we'll get to the big thing.
Here, while y'all talk about the winners, I'm gonna go around the limit real fast, all right?
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So best picture went to Coda, which is a film about deaf people, which Coda stands for Child of Deaf Adults. I haven't seen that one yet. Because last year and the year before, I watched all of the Best Picture nominees. Because previously I had always watched the Oscars, but I never like watched all the films. So I started doing that, and I was doing that this year, but I ran out of time and Kirby came out, so I was playing that. So I was like, well, there's 3 films I haven't seen because I didn't see Coda, I didn't see Belfast, and I haven't seen Licorice Pizza, but I've seen all the other ones. Like just yesterday, I finished Drive My Car, which is the Japanese film. Let's see. Best director went to Jane Campion for the Power of the Dog. That's that movie on Netflix with Benedict Cumberbatch. Best actress went to Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Best supporting actor went to Troy Kotsur for Coda, which is a deaf actor winning that.
Nice. Good guess.
Best supporting actress went to Ariana DeBose for West Side Story. I watched that recently with my dad. It's a pretty good remake that Steven Spielberg did, and Ariana DeBose, she's actually from North Carolina, so it was neat to see a North Carolina native win.
Right.
Best original screenplay went to Belfast. Again, I haven't seen that yet. Best adapted screenplay went to Coda. Best animated feature. I'm gonna save that for another discussion.
Right.
Best international feature film went to Drive My Car, which is funny because that's the only one I've seen of these nominees. Because I literally watched it yesterday. But yeah, it was good.
Nice.
Best documentary feature went to Summer of Soul, from Questlove, who did that.
Oh, nice.
Best documentary short subject went to The Queen of Basketball. Best live action short film went to The Long Goodbye. Let's see. Best original song went to No Time to Die. From
by Billie Eilish, right?
Yeah, from the new
Nice.
James Bond.
Nice.
Which he actually did a little montage of like the 60th anniversary of James Bond.
Okay. I heard Jim say like there were people upset because like they didn't get anyone from James Bond's movies to like present it or something like that.
They didn't get anybody from James Bond movies to present the like the montage. They did for they did for the song too, though. Like Rami Malek came up to present that because he's the villain in the new James Bond.
Which one is he?
In No Time to Die.
Is he Dr. No?
Let me see. What is his I was just looking here at the
was he one of those villains from the classic films that they rebooted for the new ones?
Let's see. Safin? The film's villain? I don't know if that was. Yeah, Safin. I'm not sure if he was like a villain before.
No, I can't. Because you remember, like, you've seen all of them, right, Paleo?
I've seen all the Daniel Craig ones.
Okay, Dan, do you remember the guy who like got his face blown off with a cat who looked like Dr. Evil?
Yeah.
He was a classic villain. Like he was the one who I think his name was like Blofeld or something. I don't remember his name, but like he was a classic villain. So I was wondering, I remember there was a portion where they were saying like, oh, he's definitely not this character, but they said that before with like, oh, he's not going to be the main villain like this, but then he ended up being the main villain. And then like so I was wondering if it was the same thing. Did he have hands in that movie, or is his hands fucked up?
I don't remember. I mean, his face is kind of fucked up. But
okay, I'll look it up. Rami Malek.
Best makeup and hairstyling went to The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Best costume design. This was hilarious. It went to Cruella.
Oh, fuck that movie. Fuck that.
It's always like a weird like movie that sometimes gets that, because I think like it was either best makeup.
Remember Suicide Squad?
Yeah, it was either best makeup or hairstyling or best costume design that went to Suicide Squad. And it was like the Oscar-winning Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it was the best effect. It was for Killer Croc because like it was like, oh, because of his effects. They were like, oh, that is amazing effects. So it was just like, fuck, that movie was Ugh.
But yeah, it was like I
Yeah.
guess it makes sense for Cruella because of the dresses and stuff. So
I guess. Shit
and
was-
I'll
yeah.
wait for the Saber to get back for some of these other ones. But one thing I want to talk about for best animated feature, and best animated short film, is that the way these were presented is very strange. So one of the things that happened is that they had the three of the live action Disney princesses come up to present the award, and they said it in a very strange way. Whereas like, oh yeah,
What, condescending?
yeah, kinda. Whereas like, oh yeah, we all like animated films are like are what's the word? Are like part of our formative years as kids or whatever. And where you like watch the kids will watch the film over and over and over and over, and like, and people were like, oh yeah, oh, the adults know what we're talking about. It's like, oh, and then because this is like a misattributed quote that people have been going around. It was like, this wasn't actually said at the Oscars.
Okay.
But Phil Lord said it after the animated feature Oscar was presented. Is he said it's super cool to position animation as something that kids watch and adults have to endure. And Phil Lord, for those of you who don't know, he was
at the Oscars.
No, I don't think he was.
Okay.
Actually, he might have been because he was up for Mitchell's. Because he did Missiles vs. the Machines, Lego Movie, Spider-Verse. So a lot of great animated films.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, people are kind of misattributing that quote that Phil Lord said, as if like people at the Oscars actually said it, but that wasn't actually said. It was just kind of a little condescending the way they were positioning animation.
It's easy to read that as the intent of what they were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's one of those situations where like you have a people who will like say something and like you pick up on like the little venom and how they're saying it, shit like this. Is like, yeah, when you grow up, you're not supposed to watch animations for kids.
Yeah. Which
kids
I don't blame the actresses, the three like live action actresses for the remakes. I blame more like the people who wrote them to say that.
Yeah.
It's always been strange that, America specifically, even though it's kind of, it's a popular opinion everywhere that animation's only for children. I was saying this to Saber earlier. It's only a part of animation, like animation is everywhere. Like you talk down
Avengers.
to animation, and then you're gonna give an award next for best special effects, and all that is animation.
Yeah.
You love Thanos from the Avengers.
Animation is a technique, not a genre. And like I think the example I said to Saber earlier was like, it's like if you watched if you said, oh, live action, it's just for kids, you grow up watching Lazy Town and like you grow out of it. And it's just like,
yeah,
nobody thinks that. There's tons of live action shows for children, but nobody makes that same comparison. It's just specifically cartoons.
Right.
Yeah. It's odd.
Now it's like the same people who watch like Family Guy and American Dad every weekend too, who also say it's just like you're acting like you don't watch this is stupid.
I did like that afterwards, or actually I don't think it was afterwards. I think it was actually before the show because they edited it in because like they did a bunch of the awards pre-show and then edited into the live show. With the best animated short who won, and one of the people who went up there to get the award said like, oh yeah, animation is cinema, it's for everyone, and animation for adults is a thing. Though one thing he said was a bit criticized though, is like, oh, this is just the beginning. It was like, no, it's been around for a while, like as far as like animation for adults, because like the short that won is very adult from what I've heard.
Okay.
But animation for adults has been around for a long time. It's just like it seems like it's still trying to fight that fight of like animation can be anything, guys. Like,
Right.
I think it's just
Mhm,
like
no.
there's a lot of old guard still in the academy that just needs to be pushed out.
I
Mhm.
mean, it's not. It's the problem because like adult animation doesn't get released theatrically ever. At least here, in America. Like
I think a lot of problem is like also people see like if animation that is supposed to be enjoyed by everyone, like a Disney movie or whatever, or Pixar, like it's supposed to be enjoyed by everyone, not just younger people.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like something like a Studio Ghibli movie.
yeah.
Like, that's
And what
still-
it's funny because like when they were talking about like animation like being formative for kids in their formative years, like one of the nominees for best animated film was a documentary about a gay man fleeing his country, like which is like yeah, and that's the name of the film.
that's how you
Flee.
know that didn't win.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually had 3 nominations, also for best international film and best documentary. Which was historic because like it's either an animated film had never been nominated for international film or documentary, and it was like the first time one of those has happened. But yeah, it's I doubt it will ever change going forward, as far as the way the Academy looks at animation.
No, I think it'll change. It'll just take until we're.
It'll just take until
65
we're
years
dead.
old. Mm.
Once we're that old, then it'll
Yeah.
finally have flipped the switch.
But yeah, I was waiting for Saber to get back because what's funny is that Dune took the most Oscars. It took 6.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it took best
I just
film.
watched that a few days ago. Well earned.
Yeah, it took best film editing,
movie.
best visual effects, best cinematography, best production design, best sound, and best original score, which are all technical awards, as far as like the technical side of filmmaking, which it deserves, like definitely.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's a gorgeous film, and didn't Hans Zimmer win an award for music for Dune?
He did. He wasn't there though, but also that's one of the categories that was in the pre-show that they edited in. I think that's why Hans Zimmer was like he refused to go.
No, good on him.
Yeah.
Dune's well deserved. It's a gorgeous film that kind of ruins a lot of other movies for me because I'm like, wow, how come these films can't look like Dune? But yeah, Dune's amazing. I wish the director would have gotten nominated for best director. But again, the Oscars are a bunch of pretentious fucking Hollywood elites who are psychotic, and that should lead us into our Will Smith discussion.
Yeah, yeah, because like the one I left out when I was going over the different winners was best actor went to Will Smith.
Good.
But that was after what happened. So when I was watching this live, I had no idea what was going on. I just saw like
You thought it was a bit?
yeah, no, the thing is like I didn't even see the slap. It didn't show on my end. And then I just saw like Chris Rock confuse the audio cut out, and then it cut to Will Smith yelling, and I was like, wait, what's going on? And because it was like muted for like a minute. And then Chris Rock is like, okay, that was the greatest night in television or whatever.
Right.
And then he went on to the award because like he was like much more serious in his voice like after that. I was very confused when I was watching the broadcast because and then afterwards, like an hour afterwards, I saw the posts on Twitter of like the Japanese broadcast and the Australian broadcast, which was uncensored.
Right.
Because the reason it was censored here is because Disney controls ABC and they don't want any of that shit.
Right. Yeah. So I've had like full discussions with this with like several people. Like, so like there may be a part where I get a bit serious just because there is certain things where I'm like, but for the most part, let's like keep it fun before we lead into that part. But like, okay, so first things first, like I keep seeing so many people look at it like black and white, like, oh, like Will shouldn't have slapped the guy. Of course, of course, control your emotions like that. But also the whole thing of like, oh, Christian have like made fun of like, Jada Pinkett's thing and stuff like that. Because for people that don't know, Jada has had this alopecia and stuff like that. And she's been losing her hair for a while. Like she's been losing her hair for a long time and stuff like that. And it's one of those situations where she puts it out there and they put all the stuff out there because like there's a bunch of stuff with like Jada, what she's like done with all the entanglement and shit like that, where I'm just like, this is kind of meh. I don't like that. I don't like that sort of thing that is like how she's played him and stuff like that. I think it's kind of bullshit. But I can see that Will still loves that woman. He still loves her. Like she is his wife. He loves her to death. And so, the way, because something I noticed about this is like, when Will, a lot of people are like talking about like, oh, Will was laughing at first, then he looked at Jada, and then he got like upset and stuff like that. Okay, so this is something from someone who went to anger management therapy, who used to do this all the time and shit like that. That laugh to me the second time I saw it, because at first I thought it was a bit. Like I thought it was a bit. I thought it was like, oh, this is a bit and going off and stuff like that. But that whole laugh he did, that was one of those laughs that people do to calm themselves down. This motherfucker didn't and shit like that. And then you walk up to someone like, oh man, no, because you could really tell by the walk. Like legitimately, I've seen people do this, and I'm not saying this proudly. I've done this myself too, where it's like someone has said something to you, and like, okay, and then shit like that, and you do it, and it's just like that sort of shit. I was like, oh, okay, like he let his emotion shit get to him. And it's like I remember I've read his book recently, and like in his book he talked about how like he always hated like feeling weak over certain things, because like for when he was a kid he used to see his mom get beat by his father. Like that was the thing, he could never stop it. He always used to see his mom get beat by his father and stuff like that. And there's been certain times in his life where he's just like he's felt weak, and he wanted to he just wanted to feel strong or stuff like that. And then those are just one of those moments where your emotions, where I like, it's one of those situations where I can like I've gone one of the reasons I go to therapy now, and why I've started like a YouTube series on this of like emotional control and mental health and life lessons, stuff like that, is because I go to therapy now for emotional control, so I do not get emotionally compromised. Because my whole thing before was I would get like emotionally compromised too easy. I would overthink things. I would get like really stressed out, and so like that's why I try to help people like do the thing and stuff like that. And I want to say this with Chris Rock. He probably didn't know that she had alopecia or disease or something like that. Because like, Tiffany Haddish, she shaved her head of the thing. There were other people there with shaved heads of thing. So it was like a G.I. Jane. Honestly, I think G.I. Jane is hot. I thought Demi Moore was hot in G.I. Jane. So I like that whole thing to me was just like, okay, whatever. But like, we don't know how someone is like in public. Cause like, again, we have all these people out there in public and stuff like that, where it's like, they put themselves out there and stuff like that. You don't know if she's like coming home and like, I can't believe I have this ailment, crying. Because like it's the same thing with Chadwick Boseman. A lot of people were giving Chadwick Boseman shit. Well, it's like, wow, he looks fucking skinny, he looks disgusting. And then like later on we found out he's being eaten by cancer and sadly passed away from it. And so it was one of those situations where it's like, okay, I don't know if like when she comes home she's like, sobbing and stuff like that. I'm not going to talk out my ass on this sort of thing, but I can put myself in the scenario of like saying like, oh, like if my mom like was suffering from something and someone said a joke about her that I know she hurts with, like as much as I want to say like, no, I'm calm, control, I can do this, stuff like that, sometimes emotions just overwhelm the mind. It's just like, you got to control it. But it's just like, no, what the fuck did you just say that shit like that? Because I see it both ways. Like I see it like as a joke, like because some people will take a joke and they'll be like, oh man, why are you being so soft? But the thing is this, every single fucking person, if you say you don't, you're a fucking liar, has this thing about them where if someone like had some Professor X Cerebro shit and they like read your mind and scanned something, they could find something you're insecure about, or someone close to you is insecure about that you know about, and they would say it to you, and they would get an emotional reaction out of you, like, what the fuck? And so his whole thing, I'm not condoning it. I am not condoning like what he like slap and stuff like that, because it is one of those things you learn to control how you act out. But another thing, the biggest problem I have an issue with is just the fact that it's that whole thing from the Boondocks that we always talk about, where it's just like, watch closer, you're about to experience a nigga moment and shit like that. And the thing is, they have this great quote in the Boondocks where it's like, a private nigga moment shames you. A public nigga moment shames the whole race. And it's just like, it's fucking true, sadly.
Yeah, because you could see what's her name that was sitting beside Will Smith?
Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah. You could see her face. She's like,
yeah. There's that whole thing where it's just like, it's sad. And so like when Tyler Perry and Denzel came up and talked to him, stuff like that, but it's such a real thing. I know me and Hero have talked about this before, but I cannot tell you how fucking irritating it is being the only black person in a place. And I'm not talking about like when someone's being wrongfully insulted, like someone's being wrongfully prejudiced against and stuff like that. Like they're just trying to do something, they're being wrongfully attacked. I'm talking about when you're in a place where there is a black person and you're the only black person there, and for some reason they are acting wild, they are acting ignorant, and you are the only two in the area. And it's like, oh, okay, then everyone else looks at you. This has happened to me so many fucking times. It pisses me off because it's like the white people look at me like, get your boy. And it's just like, I don't fucking know this person. All right, why am I in control of this person? And so like him acting this way has now made me look bad. I am just here trying to enjoy my day, shopping, minding my business. And this fucking ignorant nigga, I'm sorry, I'm going to call it what it is acting this way, has now caused me to look bad because I haven't done it. And it's just like one of those things I fucking hate. And so it is one of those situations where so many people will say, oh, well, he should have controlled himself better, and so many things like that. And it's just like, it is a situation where like everyone has that breaking point and everyone has a certain thing about it. And so I'm not condoning it. I can only say I understand it. He should not have done it. And I will completely say that. And there's a ton of stuff out there, but I'm saying like, I can see from a perspective of just like putting myself and being that person, because there have been so many times in my life where it's just like I used to have a hair trigger like thing where because when I was a kid I used to get like beat up and bullied so badly, so when I learned how to fight and weight train, I was like, chill, like I'm cool, stuff like that. There was this whole thing where if you made like a joke to me at my expense, like back in the day, I'd be like, what the fuck does that mean? What the fuck? Are you trying to fucking go? Are you trying to prove something to me? All right, like what now? Because like I was so fucking insecure. I was so fucking insecure. And so I would lash out that way because I didn't know better. That thankfully, therapy. Again, if you're having problems out there, people, go to therapy. There's nothing wrong with it. Therapy is so great and will help you so much. It's helping me every single day. But it is one of those situations where I can see what the brain thing. I can see how it transpired of that. And while it's fine, I do love the JoJo walk up meme, the shit like that, all the JoJo memes, stuff like that. The fact that it's like Oscar slapping that fucking zebra from Madagascar. I think that's hilarious. I think all this stuff, but it's just one of those situations where like I can like look at it from a deeper perspective instead of just being like, okay, yeah. And like Will Smith has apologized and stuff like that. And like, I can understand that whole thing of where like you lost your cool for a second and then it just went public and it's just, shitty. But, he apologized. Chris Rock isn't, doing anything to say anything against it.
Yeah,
but
because
the
LAPD showed up and like asked if there was going to be a police report, and Chris is like, nah.
Yeah.
And after that happened, because like Chris Rock was presenting for Best Documentary for some reason. That's a really weird presenter to have for Best Documentary. Though I guess like Chris Rock did do a documentary, which is hilarious. Because he did a documentary about black women's hair.
That was probably yeah, he said some shit in that documentary where I was like, oh shit. Yeah.
So Questlove won for Summer of Soul, and then after he got up there and accepted his award, he said like, Chris, we're gonna go back and settle this like family. Like that's what he was saying.
Okay.
So who knows what was happening behind the scenes?
Yeah. And you know why he slapped him too? Because paper beats rock.
Shut up.
Yeah. But yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying like earlier, I was like, yeah, just that moment, like, man, it overshadowed pretty much everything else that happened at the Oscars.
Right.
Like because the ending was pretty sweet with the winners of Coda, with the having like deaf representation at the end,
Oh yeah, that was great. Like I
Yeah.
started looking up those people. Like it's really awesome that they all have that thing about them.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, like
which-
not awesome.
which
that
is-
they're- I mean,
This is interesting. Like recently, we've had a lot more of like because there's also a deaf character in Drive My Car, which I just watched, and then
I watched that
like
yesterday.
and then what is it? Hawkeye, the character in Hawkeye who's hard of hearing.
Oh, Echo.
Yeah, Echo. Which was a much better representation than Eternals. Eternals was very weird.
Yeah. Why was that character even deaf in Eternals?
I don't know.
Wasn't she a robot? Wasn't she a robot?
Yeah.
Like it's just like okay. No, she's in love with the Joker.
Eternals, man.
Mm.
Anyway, yeah, that was the Oscars. So let's go to Q&A. We actually have quite a bit of time for Q&A this time.
Yay.
So let me go to the super chats here. From Deli18, asking to describe your worst experience taking out the garbage.
When a raccoon jumped on me at work, that was the worst one. It
Oh,
didn't
Burger-
bite me or
at
anything,
Burger
but
King?
when I worked at
Yeah.
Burger King, yeah, like that was like I was like shaking bad after. I was like, oh, what the fuck, shit like that.
Every time I take out the trash,
Every time.
they're all awful.
I don't remember.
Trash Papagenos was a nightmare.
I don't remember when.
Excuse
But
me.
I know one time where like raccoons like got into the trash and it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Because I just had, I had it outside, so I was like, we're just gonna keep the trash inside now, so like animals don't get into it, and then take it out when it's done.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Then Editman, being a member for 7 months, saying interesting moments from any official awards show, like the Will Smith slap incident.
Oh, you already mentioned a couple.
Yeah, I mentioned a couple before. I'm trying to think of some because I know there were some weird ones at the Annie Awards, but I can't remember what they were.
The Annie just every single skit that they do, or like every single presentation they do, I swear, not every single one, but it is 80% of them are cringe galore. I hate it. It's so awful. I'm like, can we please just give the awards and stop wasting people's time, please?
Oh yeah, there were some terrible skits at the Oscars this year. I was like, go back to having no hosts.
Yeah. No host.
It's so weird how like that presentation style still happens on like regular TV, but because of the internet, it just feels so outdated.
Yeah. Editman here asking craziest / weirdest food specials that were or still in fast foods. For me, it's the McSalad shake. McSalad shake.
McSalad shake.
McDonald's actually was selling a lot this long ago. McSalad shake. What?
Wait, McSalad shake. Like
what,
a McSalad.
Like is like a veggie shake or whatever.
McSalad shake.
I have never heard of that.
I've never. This better not be a freaking.
I know one's food special. I'm thinking of.
Oh, this thing. It was literally just a salad in a cup. It wasn't like a blended thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, that was stupid. Fucking trying to get me to eat healthy. Fuck you.
Nacho fries are pretty good.
And nacho fries are busted.
He's talking about like weirdest or craziest. So.
You remember when the freaking Taco Bell actually made the nacho and then they stopped because they were bitches? It was. I remember they didn't call it the nacho though.
I remember when they had the chicken taco where like the shell was actually chicken.
Wait, what?
Yeah, do you remember that? I had it once. I was like, it's actually pretty good.
Right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was like I had it back in like 2017.
The shell was like a breaded piece of chicken.
Yeah.
The flesh of a chicken from my taco shell.
Wait, what? I need to look this up. I did not see this.
Yeah, I had it once. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
What? It was called chicken taco. What?
I'm not sure exactly what it was called.
Oh yeah, I don't think it was called a chicken taco because they have chicken tacos. One of the weirdest things on the Taco Bell menu that was like back in like 2009, 2010 was the shrimp taco. Remember they just like had shrimp tacos for a while.
I don't trust shrimp from Taco Bell.
Exactly. Like it was terrifying.
Oh,
I
I don't know if
yeah.
this counts, but something that was really weird, like Burger King chicken fries. Those weren't
Fuck
weird.
them. No.
The ads for that. Do you remember
Oh, the
ads?
Bopio heads to chicken
Yeah, the
fries. That
The
was
cock
good.
rock band. That was
Yeah.
what it was called.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The cock
Is that-
rock band.
Oh, that's
Bopio head.
that's what it is. The naked chicken chalupa. That's what it is. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's
the,
what it
the-
is.
yeah.
Naked
The
chicken
shell, the
chalupa.
shell is actually chicken.
Naked chicken chalupa. What the fuck? Oh, this is like when freaking KFC did the double down.
Yeah, the double down
That's
was like
like-
just two
yeah.
things of chicken.
They're owned
It
by
was
the
two
same
things of
company,
chicken with
so.
Thousand Island sauce and cheese and bacon in the middle. It was like, yeah, we just want to fucking create more obesity this week and shit like that. Fuck
We invested
humanity.
in big pharma, and we want to get as many of you fucking half dead as possible.
Exactly. You look at like what they like promote here. It's just like, oh fuck yeah, no wonder they're fattening us up.
See, Enigma Prince asking, so those Academy bigwigs at Austria said the animation is a chore and a burden for adults to watch. Care to refute such claims? Yeah, I mentioned this earlier about like the misuse of the quote. It wasn't like actually quoted there, but it was implied.
Yeah, it's just silly.
But like as far as like refuting such claims, I mean there have been so many great adult animated series and movies over the past few years. So
Like it's insane though. It's like it's not even a like worth the thing. Like 'cause you can like literally just knock that shit down. Like again, like I it's funny how there are people like this who quote like, yeah, I don't get animation and watch Family Guy and American Dad. Like I've
Yeah,
seen this
right.
happen so many times. Where it's like they're tweeting about the episode or like, oh, this is so funny, and it's just like, yeah, I don't get animation. It's just like, okay, whatever.
There's tons of fantastic adult animation. Shout out to Red Moa. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Time. Last
never-
girl.
I will never forget. Although she did eventually see it. The person that the coworker around my age, she's maybe like 2 years younger than me. When she loved watching all the Marvel movies, and we always talk about the Marvel movies, the ones I'd seen at least when they like come out. And then Into the Spider-Verse came out. And I was like, "Did you see Into the Spider-Verse?" She's like, I don't know, not so much like into the animation thing. I was like, if you like Spider-Man, go see the fucking movie.
Did you say it like that specifically?
No, of course
It's just-
not.
yeah,
she just-
She
go
did
back
eventually-
go back
If
in
you
time.
like Spider-Man.
Go back in time and say that.
Yeah.
Yes,
please.
in the office, of course. I'll say exactly.
Grab
that.
her by the fucking yeah.
No, she's fun to talk. She's cool, but like she did eventually see it. And she's like, "Wow, that was actually really good." I was like,
Yeah.
And then like you go and
I was
watch like.
"Yes."
So have you seen Spider-Verse 2? No, I'm just not into the animation thing. The first one was good though. Bitch, if you don't get your ass in that car.
Oh god, this is like this stigma against animation is ridiculous.
Toon J saying the Play-Doh movie, fun to watch but not to eat.
Yeah, and then they're gonna
Oh
give out
no,
like
Jax,
Play-Doh
do you
candy.
agree?
No, I don't. Delicious.
Like,
Shouldn't
get-
eat
The
that.
Stretch
when
Armstrong
the-
movie.
When the Play-Doh movie
Oh,
comes
God.
out, when the Play-Doh movie comes out, get it on a Blu-ray and then eat it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they just like you have popcorn with Play-Doh. Just fucking in the theater.
Is
Malik
Play-Doh
Webster.
toxic?
I mean, I'm still here, so no.
No, I mean it's. For
I don't
kids.
think-
Like,
I
they-
think it's
they
not
have to
toxic.
understand that like 10% of the product they make is going to end up shit,
Mhm.
literally.
Malik Webster asking, what's your favorite mid/bad or guilty pleasure Sonic game, except Shadow the Hedgehog? That's just too easy. I actually thought about this when I was looking over the thing, because I'm like, people like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and even though like people who haven't played it or didn't grow up with it, if they play it, because I remember like Saber like trying
That's
to play.
me.
I remember Saber trying to play Sonic Adventure 1, and he was like, "What is this?"
Sonic Adventure 1's pretty rough. Sonic Adventure 2 is pretty fucking sick.
Yeah.
I will
It's
stand by
fun,
that.
but 1/3 of the game blows Donkey Kong.
Exactly.
around.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like most of the game,
one-
most of the game is
1/3
like
of the game is great. 1/3 of the game is okay. 1/3 of the game
And
is
1/3 is
terrible.
horrific.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's the Chow Garden, which is like a whole nother game.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing to me that they had 1/3 of a great 3D Sonic game, and then they just stopped making games like that.
Yeah.
Like
And they're just like, how do we make them? What's going wrong? It's like,
Yeah,
"Wow."
but
They figured it out in
that's
1999.
but that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say Sonic Spinball. Because I had the Sonic Mega Collection. I would have played that for hours.
Sonic Spinball?
Yeah.
I love Sonic
How?
Spinball.
The game runs at like 4 frames per second.
I know!
Mm.
It's
And the
terrible!
first level is incredibly hard. It's
Right?
so
God.
That's why I played
Right.
it for hours!
Yeah, I know. Me
I didn't get
too.
anywhere, but I played it for hours.
What is it? The config screen has like the most ear-piercing music ever. I love it.
does!
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. It's because
My-
there was like a tool that Sega made back in the day called Gems, and a lot of games with weird soundtracks would just use this thing called Gems instead of making their own music, and it always sounded terrible. On the other hand, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine OST slaps way too
Oh
hard
yeah.
because it's a Puyo game, and it just fucking goes 110,000%. It's insane.
What was exactly the question again? Like
The guilty
What-
pleasure
what's your
Sonic game?
favorite mid or bad Sonic?
I
Sonic
like
game?
all
Is
of
it-
them.
Oh,
Yeah, I know I'm terrible. I'm a terrible
that's-
person. If you
that's
put one on,
unfortunate.
That seems
I-
like physically
I don't think that's
impossible to
true.
follow.
I don't think that's true. I'm sorry.
no, it's just like
I
no. If you like put a Sonic game in front of me for like an hour, I can like play it just like because it's not. I'm not like playing it like seriously. Like if I'm playing like Spider-Man or like Mortal Kombat, like I'm into the shit. Like if it's just Sonic, it's just like I don't know what it is. Like Sonic, I just sort of turn my brain off, just like whatever. I fell off. Whatever. Yeah. It depends.
I'm gonna give you Sonic Unleashed, and I'm gonna give you a werewolf level.
Oh yeah, I
and
know. Sonic Unleashed,
No.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, where you turn
I'm
into the
gonna give
fucking
you a-
furry werewolf. Yeah, I remember that
Those
shit.
levels are literally atrocious. I am sorry.
No, I don't. You don't have to tell me. My brain shut off during that point, so it's not like it's.
Sonic Team sometimes has this problem where like, oh yeah, we're gonna make really good Sonic game, and then another game to attach to it. Like
Yeah, they
Yeah.
keep going in this gimmick, and it's like you don't need that.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
the
like
gimmick-
with
the gimmick is go fast. You figured this out in 1991.
Mm.
My favorite guilty pleasure. It's literally my favorite Sonic game, and I feel like a sinner. But Sonic 06 is my favorite Sonic game. And I've
See,
said
and
it,
you're
I'm
talking to
pretty
me.
sure-
Okay, you're talking.
I know, I
fucking
know,
me.
right?
Yeah,
I know.
fuck
yeah, I remember
But,
seeing
like-
you play it.
Please
Yeah.
explain.
Oh, I think I've explained before, but like it's a really simple explanation. When it's good, when it's working, the game is actually quite fun. Like genuinely, like if you were to play only the working part, the game's pretty sick actually.
I mean, I've
Hey.
gotten to the title screen, and it wasn't that fun.
But if you play the bad parts, which is 79, 80% of the game, it's hilarious. It's so funny watching that game try to
Mm.
play. It's like I'm always having a good time in some manner, which is better than I can say for other Sonic games.
See, there you go. Now you understand. My brain's being shut off. It's just like,
No.
yeah, my brain's just like, I don't care.
No, my brain's always on. It's always stimulated in some way.
No.
All right.
The music for Sonic 06, holy shit, it's so good. It's
Yeah.
so good. It's terrible that it's in such a bad game.
Yeah.
All right, from Christina, saying, no question, just hug your pets or nearest animal object and tell them you love them for me. Nearest animal object.
Literally.
I've got a
Let me see in the
Pikachu
room.
here.
Actually,
I love you,
Paleo,
Pikachu.
the nearest animal
Literally-
object is something I have for you that I found packed, and
What?
I had to make yeah, it's for you when you come over.
What is it?
You'll find
It's
out
Oh,
when
Oh my
you get
god,
there.
it's Dolphmon!
It's the dolphin Digimon.
Dolphmon.
Oh, we just
That's
pitching
cool.
Digimon all over the place lately.
I know, right?
Prodigious.
Wait, you say animal object? Oh, like just animal, because that's
Animal
not
or animal object. you
Animal
don't
or
know.
animal
Okay,
object.
I'll do those-
Hug your
have
pets. Yeah, hug your pets or nearest animal object.
You.
I
You
have
for
cats, but they're not
hugging
near.
your cats?
They're not near me.
Oh my god. Imagine being a cat.
I don't
and you're
have
like,
them in here
"Master,
when
do you love
when I'm
me?"
doing the podcast.
And you walk into the room and he's hugging a Pikachu instead of you.
He just closed the
Betrayal.
My nearest animal object. I'd have to get it out of my whatever these things are called. What do you call these things? Display case. Yeah. I'm not
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that.
Mm.
A $35 Nala plush. the easiest purchase of my literal life ever.
Um,
I'm not even. That's not even like an exaggeration. Like for real. I was like, how much that now? She said $35. I was like already in my wallet.
I'm just
Enigma-
asking to be polite. I don't care.
Right?
Enigma Prince, asking, what's your guilty game that you enjoy playing no matter how bad it is review wise, as well as your guilty live action show or movie that you watch? So
It's funny because we're dipping into that guilty thing again, which I just do not feel. But
I guess you can consider it like, what do you enjoy despite it
The
being
reviews of
Des-
it.
despite bad
not
reviews,
great.
yeah.
mm,
I'm looking.
what are the mediums here?
um,
Games.
Games. I believe we've done movies a lot before.
Mhm.
Not live action shows though. That's strange.
Live action. I feel like I don't watch. This is gonna sound so, but like.
Oh,
because
I know
don't
what it
watch a
is.
lot of
Despite
live
that you watch
I do,
despite
yes.
reviews.
Yeah. It's Big Bang Theory. I love Big Bang Theory. I think
Yeah.
it's hilarious, honestly. I don't know where all the bad mouthing is going from. I think that show's really funny.
I just thought it because during the GameCube era, a lot of GameCube games had terrible reviews despite them being fun as fuck. Like Kirby Air Ride had terrible reviews.
Yeah,
It's fun as
but that's
fuck.
like a cult classic now.
I
Yeah.
don't get it. I played Kirby Air Ride later, so I guess I wasn't the.
Yeah,
the
you had to
target
be there.
demographic.
Yeah.
It honestly seems like it's one of those you had to be there because I played it. I was like,
Yeah,
this
because
game's
I
really
played it so
fucking
much with
boring,
my
dude.
friends.
Uh-huh. I tried all of them. Everyone's like, "Did you try?" Yeah, like I did. I did all of it, and it was all so boring.
It's like, but did you do all the things? You're just like, I play fighting games. Trust me, I figured this game out.
Like, did you
pretty quick.
do them? Like, did you do them by yourself or with somebody else?
I did them with other people. Yeah.
Okay.
Like everyone always asks us how I did like the City. Is it City Escape? Is that what it's called?
What?
Or is that?
That's
Yeah,
Sonic.
that's Sonic.
What-
No,
what's
is
the
the
mode?
city trial mode.
City Trial.
Yeah.
You did City Escape. Yeah, the City Trial. Yeah, I did it, and like I don't know.
Crossover we need. Sonic
Right.
Adventure, Kirby Air Ride.
It's fine. I kind of wish I was there. It's the same kind. Yeah. No, it's not. It's actually different. Yeah, but I kinda wish I was
There's a
there.
lot of games like
But-
that growing up where it's like you kind of had to be there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really like DMC Devil May Cry, even though everyone knocks on it. It's
The
not
game's
like
actually pretty fun.
it's super fun. I love it. It's the cringiest script ever made, ever.
Yeah.
But it's so super fun to play. You can just air juggle for days. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's good.
It's funny because I'm playing it right now. Rune Factory 5.
I mean,
no,
we're
not
just,
that. Sorry.
we're just wearing a fedora. It's the funniest shit ever.
Not in a million years. That line, oh my god. When he
People
throws
were
off his
so pissed about that. I thought it was hilarious. I was like so down. Like, 'cause I don't know. I'm such a huge DMC fan. I should hate it, but like when they said, "Oh, it's totally different," I'm like, "All right, impressive."
Sure, I'll take your word for it.
And it was fun. It was a fun game. And then everyone's like, "Oh, but they made fun of him having the white hair." I'm like, "He has white hair at the end of the game. Like it's a joke. It's a joke. It like comes back and does a thing."
Yeah, Rune Factory 5 is. I would never tell anyone to buy it. It runs absolutely piss poor, and like the writing's not great. But I don't care because I have already put in like between the Japanese version and the English version, and me playing it on my computer as well. I put in easily like 120 hours already, and I have no signs of stopping. Game is just really fun to. Why is farming and beating up monsters like the perfect combo? I just so good. Like two things that shouldn't go together at all, but it just it's like
The farming and farming games.
exactly.
Let's go to Twitter here. Nathaniel Foga asking, "What's a movie you felt got robbed from getting an Oscar, and also a film that didn't deserve an Oscar?"
Black Klansman should have probably gotten an Oscar.
It probably should have. I haven't seen it, but I've heard great things
I
about
don't know. I don't know. If is robbed the right word? It like I feel like robbed is like a certain degree. I would say it's robbed. What won that year again? Green? It was Green Mile. Not Green Mile.
Green Mile.
No,
Green Book, rather.
Green Book. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen Green Book, so I can't say. But the Black Hornets one was.
Kyle Garrison said Flea. For best documentary or best international film, I don't know. For best animated feature, I don't think so. Like best animated feature, you can kind of predict what's gonna win there. Like Encanto won. The impact Encanto had was huge. But I will say that there's been a lot of Oscar snubs though. Like when the Lego Movie didn't get nominated for best animated feature, I was like, what the fuck? Even the Annies didn't nominate the Lego Movie, which was terrible. It was like, what?
This is your bread and butter.
Yeah, I think it's because the Lego Movie is like, oh, it's a product, but it's like it's using it very well.
Yeah, it's really good.
But one thing I would say that one that was snubbed for this year, The Green Knight. I was expecting it to get nominated for something. It didn't get nominated for anything. I was very surprised.
Forgot it.
That's crazy.
Let's see. If there was a category for the top 5 what the fuck moments in movies, do you think that a scene from 2017 MLP one where Twilight yells at Pinky after her former tries to steal the pearl would be one of them?
No, not at all. Yeah, sadly, I mean,
there are so many other way bigger what the fuck moments in movies.
Yeah, what the fuck moments? Because I don't really see that as a what the fuck moment.
Yeah, what the fuck moment is like in Deep Blue Sea when Samuel Jackson gets fucking
eaten by a
shark.
Yeah, that's something I forgot to talk about with the Oscars was their fan favorite category that happened, and it fucked up. They fucked this up so bad.
Oh god.
Because the way voting worked is oh man, people could rig this the way they wanted, and Snyder fans came with a vengeance with this because they did the top 5 most cheer-worthy moments of movies for any movie, not of just of last year, of any movie. And it went to Flash entering the Speed Force and Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's come on, guys.
Yeah, it's so silly.
And then the fan favorite movie of last year went to Army of the Dead.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's fucking dumb.
Spider-Man was number 4.
That is so stupid. That is so God.
Because that's the whole reason they made that was because of Spider-Man. That fan favorite thing.
Right. Oh god, that's so silly.
It's kind of funny actually.
It is pretty funny. So I doubt that's coming back. The fan favorite voting thing.
Can I name Midsommar as one huge what the fuck moment? Just the entire movie.
Yeah, that is a big
Midsommar. Yeah, that is a big one. Or freaking Hereditary too. It's a bit. Oh, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, but most of those H. No, you know what's a good one? Fucking Lamb. You seen Lamb?
I haven't seen that yet.
Dude, the ending of Lamb is the biggest what the fuck I've seen in a long time. I was like, what the genuine fuck is going on here?
All right, I got a few more here.
Wait. Super important news from today. Sony has renewed its trademark for Knack. Oh my!
I saw that. Knack 3, baby.
Nobody wants Knack. No one wants Knack. It's a joke.
No, don't tell Sony. We know it's a joke. Don't tell Sony. They'll keep making more.
Right.
Thinking it'll sell.
This is like the game version of the Pinocchio movie where it's we're gonna make it intentionally dumb. It's just oh no, they ruined it.
Oh god.
I feel like Knack would sell so, and ironically, and no, it wouldn't sell well, but it still sells so many ironic copies that I want to kill myself.
All right, just a few more here from Twitter saying Santos Lane saying for Jax. What's your opinion on the Super Saiyan Gear 5th moment in the recent One Piece chapter?
Oh, that shit was hype. I'm not even gonna front. When fucking Luffy went Gear 5, bruh, that shit, because it was one of those things where I was wondering, are they actually gonna give him a fucking a stupid power? Like is this gonna be like, oh, he gets possessed like Naruto, or is it gonna be like he is actually a reincarnation of something like that? It was just like, no, his devil fruit had its awakening, like so many series, so many devil fruits in the series have done. And so like the way they went about it was just like, the way I love it, because they pretty much gave him a very light version of Toon Force, because it was just like the reason his devil fruit makes him like the Gomu Gomu no Mi and stuff like that. Before it was just like, oh, he's rubber, stuff like that. But the way his power when it unlocked the Gear 5th was like, oh shit, no, he's like a rubber hose cartoon. He can fucking like affect shit. So he like starts doing all this cartoon shit. And so like I can't wait for it to get animated where people put the Ed, Edd and Eddy sound effects, because he fucking just like grabs like and then the guy's eyes are popping out his head like a what the fuck, and the guy tries to blast him, and like Luffy like grabs the ground like a fucking Popeye character, just like rips it up, and like his wings. It's just like, what is going on here? That shit was, I was like blown away. But I was like, it fits so well because One Piece is known for being goofy, and is like literally giving him goofy, silly powers. And I was just like, oh, this works so well. So yeah, the
other part of the question is like, do you think Luffy has legit Toon Force now?
He doesn't have, I wouldn't say, well, we have to wait till the next chapter. I don't think he has massive Toon Force like Bugs Bunny level reality warping shit or anything like that. But the fact that he was like able to alter like the ground he was on to make it rubber, and then like change his body at will to either be like super buff or like really like skinny or something like that, or like, you know, just freaking grab Kaido and just yeet him around like a freaking dragon, and he has eyes pop out. I think like it's very clearly like, oh, this is some rubber hose Cuphead type like classic shit animation. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I don't think he has full Toon Force, very diet Toon Force. Diet Toon Force.
All right. Arthur Truro on Twitter asking, do any of you think Morbius actually stands a chance against Sonic 2? It doesn't.
No, no. Even the freaking director was spoiling it on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, this happens and this happens. So yeah.
Yeah, because like, is Morbius out this week or next week?
Yeah, it's out coming this week. Okay. No, I think it's next week, April 4th or something.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
it's coming out like around the same time Sonic does.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna get roaded.
Ozzy asking, and continuing with the Oscars, what are your thoughts on the Oscar fan favorite categories? Oh yeah, we just talked about that. Yeah, that was a disaster. So they're probably not going to bring it back next year. And then last thing here from Brandon King, saying, do you think the upcoming Sony Pictures Animation adult films might help shift the view of cartoons towards people thinking that they're for everyone? Maybe if they're like popular enough. Because I know they're doing that one film about like the Korean pop stars, the K-pop stars, which sounds really cool and interesting. And from the concept art, looks really really badass.
Nice.
So maybe if anybody could do it, maybe Sony Animation because of what they did with Spider-Verse. Or if Pixar does something like more
they
adult.
Never will.
Though I was surprised by Turning Red of like how more adult as far as like the subjects they were talking about got into.
I mean, sort of. It's not even so much they were talking about adult things. It's more just like where our standards are so low for Disney in terms of like talking about those things. It's like, oh my god, they dipped their toe into the fucking deep end with something.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm surprised they put the Netflix shows on Disney Plus. I'm like, oh, you did?
Yeah, that was like they had that whole special thing where like when you signed into Disney Plus, it was like, you want to make sure you have a mature section. So I was like,
yeah.
So they can show fucking now on Disney. Yeah. Face down, ass up. That's the way I like it.
Well, that's one way to end a podcast.
It is. Beautiful.
Yep. All right.
Yuck.
So next time, let's see, it will be the 11th of April. So Sonic will be out by then, and also the pony stuff and Morbius. We'll have a bunch of stuff to talk about.
Right.
And Close Enough Season 3. Yeah, there's a lot coming out in the next couple weeks.
So
yeah, April 11th will be the next podcast. we will see you then. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for the super chats and everything. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.